So usually.
Not always, though.
Okay, I would like to,
But I was at last, yeah.
okay, I would like to call to order the Village of Lansing Planning Board meeting for Tuesday, August 25th, 2026 to order at 7:02 PM. Get good at that. Soledad is not here yet. We do have a quorum, but my understanding is she should be along here, so. First item on the agenda is the approval of minutes. We've got two sets. We've got July 28, 2026 and August 10, 2026. Were there any additional comments to the July minutes?
It looked great.
I appreciate the effort that Maureen has given me. How do you, is that something you do there or is that available from?
No, it's something I actually did it for you, yeah. I'm happy to show you sometime how to do it.
That'd be great. That would be great.
Don't give away the secrets.
Okay, I will entertain a motion to approve July 28, 2026 minutes.
Motion to approve.
Motion by Kevin, second by Lorraine, all in favor? Aye. And any additional comments on the August 10th minutes?
It looked great. The first time Natalie and I didn't have to make any.
I know, I saw both of those coming out, I was like.
I was like, well, I don't have anything, but I'm gonna please you.
Wait, just- Okay, if there's no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to approve the August 10th, 2026 minutes.
To approve.
Motion by Lorraine, second by Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
I think I just saw Soledad phone.
Yeah, it's her. She's getting out of the car.
Just 1 second.
Yeah, we'll wait for her.
Oh, wait 1 second, yeah, wait. It's not 3 PM yet.
7:03 instead of 2.
Hey, Soledad. All you missed was, so you're here at 7:03 PM. All you missed was approval of minutes. Okay, next item on the agenda is the public comment period. This is an opportunity for anyone from the public to bring up any topic that is not already on the agenda for this evening.
Susan Ainsley, covering for the Board of Trustees.
Susan?
Hello, everyone.
Good.
Thank you.
Can you state your name?
Yeah, my name is Kazim Villiciu. I live at 20 Oakcrest Road. I have some comments here, wrote a few remarks about the fence project for Murray Estates. All right, I'll read it from the remarks here. Good evening. My name is Kazim Villiciu and I live at 20 Oakcrest Road. My property shares both a rear and a side boundary with the Murray Estates parcel. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight regarding the fencing project currently underway on that property. First, I want to be clear that I'm not opposed to farming. I'm not opposed to the deer fence. And I understand that property owners have rights, recognize that agriculture is an important part of our community. My concern is not simply the fence itself. It's the scale of clearing that has accompanied the project and the impacts that clearing may have on neighboring properties and the environment. And that handout, I put together a little display on the first page of where the property is situated, our groups, and a little close up of, the clearing that's already occurred over the last few days. So a large section of trees, brush, and understory vegetation that's adjacent to the property have been removed. A wooded buffer that existed for many years between our home and the larger tract has been significantly diminished. What was once a natural transition between residential and agricultural land is now a widely cleared corridor. As neighboring homeowners, we have some questions for the village. Has the village evaluated whether removing so much vegetation could affect drainage, runoff, erosion, or stormwater management? My property and my neighbor's properties are very vulnerable to water coming from upstream, more highly situated portion of Oakcrest Road, wants to come alongside our property, through our property and drain. I work very closely with Shane at 24, I believe, or 28. And he's built a driveway with a drain underneath just to match the patterns of water flowing from the forest. I assume that's no longer going to work because of all this clearing. This will be a real challenge to us. Our basement is pretty much at the same level as a low point between the 2 yards. I'm foreseeing quite a bit of issues with drainage going forward. So just asking the question, has that been evaluated for providing the permit? Has any assessment been performed regarding the effects of such a long fence, several miles? I heard 3.5 miles, might be more. Such a long perimeter fence on the local wildlife and their movements. We've been talking with neighbors and other residents. We regularly observe deer, coyotes, foxes, rabbits, and a lot of birds, turkeys, using this wooded area. So I'm not just talking about the cornfields and the other agricultural land, I'm talking about the tract of woods that is adjacent to that land, currently zoned residential. So we do observe a lot of wildlife. We don't know how that's going to be impacted by this fence and the enclosure of it. So one question is, were there alternatives considered that would allow more vegetation to remain near residential properties? Right, all this clearing right next to properties. There's a neighbor of mine who shares 3 edges. Is going to be completely enclosed. Perhaps more importantly, are there opportunities for mitigation? Could vegetative screening, native plantings, or other buffering measures be implemented to reduce the impact on neighboring homes? I believe these are reasonable questions. I'm not asking the village to stop agriculture or to revoke any approvals that have already been issued. I'm just asking that the concerns of adjacent homeowners be considered and that opportunities for mitigation be explored before further clearing occurs. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thanks, Stefan. Anything you want to?
Oh, I guess this is kind of in my realm as far as being the code officer. But some of it can be, I can answer some of it I have to do a little bit of research on. I'm not a stormwater engineer. First of all, the fence, when Murray Estates came to me, said they want to put a fence up around there, they have every right to put a fence up without a building permit as long as it remains on their property. They can build right up to the property line. Having their survey crew, I've had a surveying crew out there. I have fielded a few calls from residents. I've actually spoken with Joyce. And she has allowed me that whenever I can to get out there and take a look at what the clearing looks like. I'm hoping you'll also grant me that. Yeah. As far as the extent of the clearing, until the actual earth is being moved around, I realize there's brush being cut. Hopefully it regrows. Until the earth is actually being moved, he's not required to do a notice of ground disturbance. Like I said, I will contact our stormwater engineer and see what kind of effects of that. I will contact representatives from Murray Estates to see how much of an extent this is going to be. I do feel bad for you that you do have that beautiful view and whatnot, and now it's getting cut down. The village code and zoning does not require a buffer between farmland and residential. It does between commercial and residential. So I've got some research that I'll do, and if you can provide me with an email, whoever, I'm sure you have a point person that can talk to everyone else, so I don't have to send it to everyone. I'll research this, take a look at your questions. And like I said, speak to our engineer and I'll get back to you on this. Now, who do I contact directly?
You can copy me, you can copy Larry, he's been in communication with him as well. He's
Barry?
Larry,
Yeah, okay.
He wasn't able to be here today, he's gone all week traveling.
Yeah.
But he is definitely interested.
Okay.
Not as impacted as he has a larger lot, is buffer. I also was worried about the wildlife question.
Okay.
Um,
Now, I have Larry's email and like I said, I will research this and I will get back to him and he can pass it on to you folks.
May I make a comment as well? Just, don't have anything sophisticated and prepared as costume, but I'm sure sweetly I live on Sundance Road. Excellent. So I just want to say that I first moved into my house in 1979. So I've been there a long time. My house was once when I moved in on this little pamphlet called Historic Homes of Lansing. Because it was a deck house, it was one of the first deck houses built, it was built in 1969 to be integrated with nature. So to see that nature around my border being completely destroyed is absolutely heartbreaking. My yard is the haven, and say it for deer. And this evening, as I was making dinner, the turkeys are out there, hawks. The whole chain, the whole ecological chain in this section of the village is being disrupted. And I know you've told me that anybody can do what they want on their land. So I guess what I'm asking is how can something be done to change the code? Because we're also supposed to be able to have the right to enjoy our own property. And this is directly impacting that enjoyment. There is absolutely no peace around my home at this point in time. And when I asked to talk to Mr. Horowitz, he just told me I'm busy and talked to Jeff, who I spoke to, and Jeff is doing his job. As
I
far as
also told Jeff and Kevin's both numbers, didn't hear back.
it's regarding cleanup, if you look at Sundowns Road, where brush has been cut since last year, nothing has been cleaned up. There are trees just poked into the forest. So I'm concerned also, last fall, do you remember when there were wildfires down on Route 34? I do. And everybody on Sundowns was warned to be ready to evacuate. So now we have all this brush just lying around like a tinderbox. So that's another one of my concerns.
Yeah, there are two huge piles of brush. 20 feet from my house right now. I have no idea if they're gonna be moved or just left there, but
Did Jeff indicate what they would be doing to that?
I did not. I work in Geneva. I haven't met.
You said you spoke with him, I just didn't know whether
Yeah.
you mentioned it, what
I
he.
spoke to him, they were, my wife told me ears about what was going on, so.
He's under the gun, Jeff is under the gun to get this project done and to get it cleared so the posts can be dug in order to install the fence. Another concern is that there's no notice, I think I had like maybe one day, you might see some people tramping around out there around your property. We're talking about a community here. And there's good neighbors and bad neighbors. And also the beautification, this is a huge parcel. And if you drive around that parcel now, all you see is a lot of junk. Just a lot of junk. So that's what I wanted to say. I'm really dismayed. Like I said, I've been here a long time and I love where I live. And every time I think I'm gonna move, I just can't uproot myself because it's such a beautiful place. And it just breaks my heart to see it destroyed. Thanks for letting me.
Can I ask you another question?
I wonder it's all of you. I would assume when I hear of the brush clearing that it had to be done so that the fence companies could get in there without going on other people's land. At this point, and I'll find out when I come out there. So it looked like they're clearing much more than what would be needed for the fence area.
I haven't measured it, but it looks like 15 to 20 feet.
What?
Okay.
Tractors. The grass and the flower, and they're pulling big trees up by the roots. I mean, it's not just clearing them down. I've seen the claw pulling trees up. And, yeah, what's gonna happen with everything that lives there? You know, a fence is one thing, but the way this project has been undertaken is another.
Okay, thank you.
Interesting. Yeah, absolutely.
My name is Leslie Phelps. I live at 23 Oakcrest Road. I just wanted to, I'm not directly impacted as are Joyce and Koisman by the clearing. My concern is more how the fencing will impact the wildlife. They've mentioned it, they have kind of a higher priority of other things like erosion and stuff. I do know fence types can have a very large impact on what the wildlife can do. And I wasn't sure if anybody had reached out to him about steps he might take to mitigate some of the damage that can be done. I've heard chain link fence for this area. I've seen deer bounce off of chain link fence and just bounce right back into the road as they were trying to cross. So that raises concern with potential car-deer interactions. I know small animals can get trapped in chain link fence. And depending on the fence type, deer might be able to clear it, but their fawns can't. So that can lead to abandonment. So those are some of my concerns. And again, I recognize, you know, his property, he can do what he wants, but I wasn't sure if there was, there could be an attempt to reach out to him to determine the kind of fence, the height of fence, and the steps that might be taken. Again, to mitigate, you know, like potential fawn abandonment along fences, animals getting trapped in fences. Because that, of course, is, you know, not a good look at best, and damaging to wildlife. So that was just my concern. In addition to their concerns, but not being directly affected by this. I have concerns about wildlife.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Ask a few questions of the public, just because I'm curious.
Sure.
Yeah, so how many people live on the street and how many of the neighbors have been in discussion about, or have you spoken with most of your neighbors?
I live there, so there's 4 roads at the top of the road. It's actually not a Cuba Heights address, but it's at the top somewhere else, so I think it's. And then there are 4 other houses, he owns one of them. And I have not spoken with Cheryl, I don't see her very much. And the other neighbors have been away, so this has been taking place. Also, while these 2 houses on the Sundowns, people have been away, I don't know if they know anything. You know, I think Pence, Thompson, Maddie Thompson and Adam Pence, they've been away a lot this summer, so I think they just got back, so I don't know. But the other ones, the Cranes, I think they're still away, maybe, I haven't seen it much. And as far as Oakcrest, you know.
On Oakcrest, the top of the street, they're selling the house, has been out at that house for 2 months.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them. Shane and his partner have bought a new house downtown. But they've been traveling for the last week, but they're aware, I've kept them updated, and they're worried about drainage as well. And up the road from us, there is a family that have not been able to contact them. There's Larry, who I've spoken to. And then there's the family right across from fire station that I haven't been able to contact yet.
Yeah. And then my next question,
And then there's the vertical people too, and I don't vertical people.
and then and Cosmo, one of your question number 1 was the village asked to approve only the fence or also the associated vegetation clearing? I don't know if the planning board, is that something we have even, was there ever anything like proposed to us to require? Not required.
It's not a.
I guess that is one of the things I wanted to mention. It isn't anything that the village ever saw that I know of or a proposal for or any workaround, or there would have been a public comment period, correct?
I
Right?
got an email from Larry, he was mentioning that. It wasn't permit, Larry, understanding was that he thought it was a permit. Okay, so right now, the building is with this, 3.5 miles maximum.
Mike Scott can, I don't know if there's a permit for this, but Mike Scott can approve or give guidance to villagers without having to come to a board if it's not something that requires a special permit. So even though Mike discussed the project with Mr. Horowitz, it doesn't need to come to the board.
So in terms of future as well, I'm asking too, if codes can be changed for the village. I mean, I know that has happened in the past, certain zoning. Right? Certain zoning areas have been modified in order to do this, that, yet. I'm thinking, I'm not sure, I'm just thinking that's happened.
Well, with this not being required to have a permit, it doesn't go any farther than myself. Even if it were to be required to have a permit, if it's not required to have a special permit, then it doesn't have to go in front of any board for a public hearing. In general, most of your zoning actions that happen, any changes in zoning, that'll be done via a public hearing and neighbors would be notified. If this project, if Mr. Horowitz's project had been some type of special permit, then all of you would have been notified, but he's not. But he didn't, because what he's doing does not require a permit at all, then he's not really required. It would be kind of a courtesy for him to let you. It wouldn't be required to let you know. But like I said, we can look into this. You may want to also discuss this possibly with the Board of Trustees. That might be another avenue. But it was good that you came here and let the planning board know this.
Yeah, no, I did reach out, having messages, I was open to buying a parcel of land right next to my property to protect it. Again, the water issues have been there 11 years, and obviously they're natural, it's the way that, you know, the water's falling downhill. And we found a way to deal with it, now that way is gone. So next year, especially if the rains continue to go as they have been, shorter, more rainfall quicker. And we're already seeing what can happen after an intense rain, and this is not gonna help. All the brush being removed, all the root systems that were protecting the drainage and the stopping power of that corridor is not exposed. There's a lot more service to accumulate water. It's directly into my property. Again, nothing against. It's obviously his right to do anything he needs with his property. I'm just asking if there's any way it could be less disruptive for the homeowners. And in my case, I think I'm gonna suffer the brunt of it because even the homeowner that I mentioned with the 3 sides is on a relatively flat area of the road. It's going downhill a lot faster for me to chain.
Well, we do appreciate, you know, all of you coming to give your comments about this, and like Mike said, he'll do some investigation and.
And if I do notice that there's gonna be a huge issue for my house, is there any way to remediate this? I document it and I show proof that I'm getting flooding and damage to my property because of this. Is there any way I can work around this?
You had every right to document it. It might be very wise to do that.
At that point, though, it might be a private issue and not a village issue.
Between me and him. There were some return calls. for a conversation. Right now, we're outside.
Thank you. You're welcome to stay, obviously, to hear the rest of the meeting. You've got. Gets lonely here sometimes. Appreciate it. Hearing no other comments from the public, I'll entertain a motion to close the public comment period.
Motion to close.
Motion by Lorraine. Second by Soledad, all in favor? Okay, next item on the agenda is to continue the discussion of village code changes and corrections. So at the last meeting, we did go over the kind of proposed definitions. I had created a document and gone through a bunch of it. So there were a couple of things. And actually, let me pull up I have my print. Let me pull up the one, Lorraine, that you had. So you did find the minutes from the adult entertainment discussion that we had. There was one question in there about did we decide to remove this use or not? Apparently, no, we did not. So the thing about adult entertainment is there's no definition for it in definitions. It is a gigantic, very lengthy, very.
Right.
There's a lot to it. It's not in terms and it's not in definitions. I forget exactly where it is. So what we should do if we're going to keep that use is we should go and probably revisit all that and figure out what we can do to make it more concise, like most of the other definitions. I mean, the other definitions are, most of them just a few lines. So we can go and do that.
I don't remember what that was under. It was under something.
It's-
I tripped upon it.
I think it's additional conditions. Yeah. Yeah. So
Page and
it's long. It's definitely the longest
Yeah.
definition we have. So it might just be that we can create a quick definition for it and still
whittle it right.
still like refer to additional conditions for it, and that's fine. There was the alteration to building or improved site, and I did take a note of that one. I didn't get to that one, so I do apologize. I unexpectedly had to leave the state for the better part of a week, so I didn't get to do everything. But the one about the alteration to building or improved site, I just need to check in with Mike on. One of them was it had to do with the required parking is different between those two, so that's just something that we can go in and address that pretty quick. I'm gonna scroll down through, construction, sales, storage. That was also very long. Mike was gonna take a look at just trying to shorten that up. Hasn't had a chance to yet.
Right. Is that the one that I ran through ChatGPT and then sent it to you?
Oh, okay.
Is that the one I did that for? And shortened it?
It's the one, it has a lot of stuff in there. It has percentage of the area of the building devoted to this and, not more than half, of the floor accessible to the general public. So there's probably a lot more detail in there that needs to be in there for an actual definition.
Perfect example of what this is if you've been over 84 months.
Okay.
This is a perfect example. We partially customers able to walk through parts or pick out, screws, nails or whatnot, but there are parts so that they cannot go into, and that's where all these percentages are. There's got to be an easier way to consolidate this, and I will promise I will do that next couple days.
Data center, Natalie did go through, I think that was yours in there. Okay, yeah. And did add some comments in there about that definition. They're highlighted in red in that document that I shared out. Some of these changes we made, well, Lorraine made also at the last meeting live as we were doing that. So thank you, Lorraine. Group residential, Natalie added some things in through there. So that's,
It's not in the printout, it'll be on the
Yeah.
link online.
yeah, it's in the online document. So it's, up for us to review. So take a look at that. I'll send the link out again. We'll just review it before the next meeting.
Just backing up, construction, sales
Yeah.
and storage. That is the one that I ran through ChatGPT and sent it to you. I emailed it to you. I can email it to you again.
I would, because I don't remember seeing it.
Oh, okay.
I honestly don't remember seeing it.
Group residential again, Natalie has some comments in there that we can take a look at. Same, and I don't need to go over all these, but home occupation, same thing. Indoor rec club, is there something in this one about?
To
Okay.
include The
Oh, including-
ancillary use of food and beverage, and then also for selling incidental to the enclosed use.
Okay, so that is one to, you should look at everything. I won't say definitely look at that one. Look at everything in red, because most of the other stuff's been cleaned up. Light manufacturing, industry or commercial assembly, this is another one that Mike was just gonna take a look at quick to make sure we weren't missing anything, because we got rid of some uses and combined some other uses together. Mixed use, this was a comment that I think Lorraine, you had in there in purple, and Natalie did include something in here about just making sure that, each use is permitted within the zoning district in which it's located. There were a couple other ones, and I just made the changes live in here that I went and updated. It wasn't pharmacy, religious facility, resident. Oh, I did for residential, multi, 1 unit and 2 unit. I did go and I took because before it really didn't say anything in the definition about residential. It set it up in terms. So I just made sure that whatever was up in 145.3 matched with what was here. So multi-unit is 3 or more, 1 is 1, 2 is 2. Schools, there was oh, that's right. That also is just, we want to go and make sure that we update 145.3 with the definition that's here. Special care facility, we went over. I think those are kind of the big ones in here. There were a couple other ones in here that we had just discussed. I guess I had it right here, actually. We had discussed just like, residential, just taking what was in, terms. Motel, hotel, that was defined up in 145.3, so I just took whatever was in 145.3, put it under motel and hotel, and then just left a note that in 145.3, it only says motel. We should make sure it says motel and hotel. Religious facility was the other one that, made sure it matched. The residential matched. Schools was, that was one that was, we just wanted to make sure that it matched with 145.3, so I updated that. And then there's the last one here about the temporary, and we know about this one, the temporary commercial and temporary non-commercial activities that we just need to go back through and kind of take a look at.
We're gonna do that
With the
tonight.
chart. I don't think, well, if you're talking about,
Well, I mean, we're talking about uses and what districts they're gonna be allowed in.
Yeah.
And that was kind of what I thought we were gonna be focusing on.
and we can do that, yeah.
Yes, we can look at the temporary stuff, but I still feel that's a whole big can of worms.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know whether you want to specifically pick a night to just discuss that about everything else.
That might be.
That's up to you. That's up to you guys.
Just to have it.
I'm just saying, we're gonna be talking through that. It's gonna stimulate a bunch of conversation on how far we can go with this.
Yeah,
Okay.
Well, I mean, if that's the piece that we don't get to and everything else is set, I mean,
Yeah.
we can, not that we shouldn't do it, but I mean, if that's the thing that's holding up, moving package, recommendation to the trustees, we can tackle that, right after. It would be great to again, just get it all done, but if we have, I mean, I guess you can kind of be the gatekeeper and see, I know there's that one special permit that was gonna maybe come tonight that didn't come tonight. Find the next meeting that's open and let's have a chat about it and, send us whatever information we all need to read ahead of time if there is any, and
well, that special permit is gonna be at the next meeting, right? The 14th.
should be, yeah. But yeah, we can pick the next one that's available and we can just have that discussion there as part of the, code changes, corrections. But between now and the next meeting, I'll send a link out to that, document again. Take a look at, Natalie's comments in there, and if we can settle on most of the stuff, that really just leaves the couple things Mike's gonna look at, and then the temporary commercial activities and non-commercial activities piece. And that should kind of button it up. And then we will just go back through and do a full read through again on, everything
So when are you going to look at the district? When do you want to do that?
for commercial and non-commercial activities.
For everything.
Oh, I would say that, so we've gone through it a couple times now. I would say that do we need to tackle it again before we go through another full read through?
So on your link, everything we discussed, it's on your link as far as.
This one is just definitions, but I can send the link out to here's what we want to use definition for everything. And then I can also send the link out for the chart, because that is up to date on our website, or out on the.
I think it would be, I'm gonna just suggest this, but like I said, it's your sandbox. I suggest you send it out with all of the indications of
Yep.
what we decided to do.
Yeah.
everybody on your own time, go
Yeah.
through it and say, well, I don't know why we don't have that in there, and then bring that back to the,
That's fine, yeah.
to everybody. That way, we're not gonna go through line by line each one, which is gonna take.
Because Lorraine and I did that outside the meetings. We went through all the meeting notes and the videos and the minutes to make sure that that chart accurately reflected. And I think even after discussing it here, we missed one thing. Yeah, go back through the chart again. I'll send the link to the definitions and the link to the chart out. If everything matches and you don't have any comments, great, but please just make sure that you've reviewed it. And if there's anything that you say, right, like, you know, we had the discussion about outdoor rec club. Well, if we allow indoor here, why don't we allow outdoor, you know, there, you know, why is there a difference? So yeah, take a look at it. See. Yes, but I'll send those both out. It would be much more useful of the entire board's time if people looked at it outside the full meeting and just brought any recommended changes to the next meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Any other comments on that?
So we should be able to hammer a lot of this down next meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we need to make that as a goal.
Yeah. What I would say is that if the only thing you think is going to be coming up at the next meeting is that one special permit,
Yeah.
unless something really critical comes up, let's not put anything else on the agenda. Let's dedicate the rest of that meeting time to finishing this up.
And we have we have a longer period. We're not until September 14th.
Oh, is that? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So
a
yeah.
little extra wiggle room.
Yeah, I'll send that email out tomorrow morning though with the links, just in case there's anything else that changes tonight. But yeah, I think the only thing. Yeah. I think that should be good. We're rapidly approaching the finish line. Well,
Can send the links to the both Google
Yeah.
Docs? Well, I can just do it right now.
if you want to, yeah, if you want to send them out right now, go for it. Yeah.
To everybody right now.
Next item on the agenda is to review the draft best law. So everyone does have a printout of this in front of them. We had talked about this at the last meeting and there were a bunch of, I think, most of the red lines, Lorraine, were from you. And those have been accepted into this document. And then the green questions and thoughts that Kevin still had are in here. And then I think are the red ones from you, Mike?
No, red ones were not in there.
Okay.
Well, they were originally from me that. What word do we define two? The two, where are we gonna be in? In this section is gonna be, it's 45.3.
Okay. Well, we can start then. I do want to dedicate a good chunk of time to going through this and trying to get as many of these things hammered out as we can. And then when we get to that, we can have that discussion. I'll just make the blanket statement that whatever we follow in this local law, I think we will do very similar, if not the same as what we did with solar. I think that, you know, we put a lot of effort to that and it's nice to have it all self-contained in that area and not referenced 18 different places through a code. You know, for example, see the chart of uses review that we've been doing where it's in maybe not 18, but 3 or 4 different places in code. So if we can keep it all self-contained in its own little area, great. If we need to define stuff elsewhere, you know, because we have
We
to.
do define it elsewhere.
We do, for solar we do, but a lot of it is contained like right in there. So the first question on here, under B objectives.
Whatever districts.
Yeah, so,
Kaylee sent that, she sent that stuff to us, it was a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that's
and you
it.
see Soldats now.
I couldn't get in.
I couldn't either. I
had to have a law.
remember what my box code was from years ago.
I didn't work with.
I don't have box. Oh, I didn't. Oh.
You don't have box and it didn't work
Yeah,
either.
I sent her back something, because Solar Dad sent something to me that she couldn't open it, so I sent it back to Kaylee. And she was gonna try to find a different way to get it to me so that we could open it, but. Whatever she sent to me, I couldn't open again, so it just didn't happen. There is some literature there. You can kind of compare it to, I don't know if there's anything that they can give us, so other than being able to go to a site.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you can duplicate it. I don't know how you do it. Someone says, oh, it sounds like a box fan going, well, how far would you stand from the box fan?
Right. Is it just like pure line of sight? Is there anything in between it? Yeah, it's, you know, it's no different than any building project. Every one of them is gonna be different.
I think though there is like a vibrational frequency that she doesn't mention in here. That, because I was just looking around, so they actually, she quoted all these different studies, so I went into the studies and I read what they found from the studies. And they are only studying like noise.
Decibel level.
Right, but there is another type of frequency that can be documented and can be measured. And it's about the hum. It's the vibrational hum. And so other districts across the United States have incorporated the understanding of the vibrational hum into the noise studies. And one of my things is I think we should potentially add into our best law to that the companies need to do a sound study before they, because I think that's what I think that's what they've done in these other examples. Is sound studies were required before they could build the systems. So I wonder if that's something we should also incorporate or not. I mean, I'm just not familiar enough with, and I mean, I think I know that this first person who wants to do this the best, they're fine, you know, doing it on their property, but I don't know what the impacts would be if we allow things like this in any zoning district for other folks. It feels like it has larger implications than just this one approval. That's what makes me nervous. And so that's why I think having an understanding, and I think Kaylee must know about that. So I'm just surprised she didn't mention anything about the vibrational hum. It's, I mean, it's just a known component of BESS systems.
Yeah, and we can ask her. I mean,
I think that's a great point about the sound study. And it should be added in, and we can look to see if other laws have similar.
we do. I mean, if you look at the tree law, there's like, you know, it's not the
Other
same.
best
Oh,
laws
okay.
that
Yeah,
might have.
I mean, if that's something that you can look up, that'd be great.
But I think a big question is, do you want to allow these in every district?
Right.
And I think another thing too is we don't know what so much is happening in this area that maybe you'll be able to contain, I really am outside of my realm, but maybe you'll be able to contain battery packs that store more, that have more vibrational hum. So I don't think it's going to be about the size. Instead, I think it's about like how much each cell can hold in the process.
Like the power.
Well, and it depends too, like, right, if I go, you could walk by my house and not know whether or not I had a Tesla Powerwall installed on there in one. That's different than what Sole Source Power, Kaylee's company, or whoever it is that's doing the project, vastly different than, you know, what they're proposing there. You know, that is a big commercial grade system versus what you would find theoretically in a, you know, in a residential house.
Right. And so, yeah. Another thing she talks about is like the sound of the guns. I think I think it's two different topics somehow. Right? It's not about
The guns are intermittent.
Yeah.
The guns are not constant.
Right.
And this would be fairly constant. I think.
Well, I think some of it, I think when she mentioned it too, was seasonal, right? Like, you know, if it depends on, a lot of it depends on if the fans were running in the thing, right? If it's cold in the winter, you don't have to draw as much heat off of it. If it's hot in the summer, sure, you have to run those fans to draw as much heat away from it as possible, I think, paraphrasing what she said, but yeah. So I think they are two different things.
Yeah, the guns are not.
And you do with tier two battery storage. I mean, if you have a defining point between tier one and tier two, at least tier one, you know what the max is going to be.
Yeah.
Whereas tier two, you could go from a 600 kilowatt hour on up to something huge, and it's obviously going to be different sound.
Right.
So we don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I recommend the tier one storage systems are relatively small. I don't see why they can't go in all districts because
Right,
they're
yeah.
really not going to be
Yeah.
abusive.
Yeah, I think it's tier two where it starts to be a question. What we did to.
Do you want me to go in and take a look at what the storage capacity is on the two ones that we have?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And one up there, see what they are.
Yeah, I think it's very-
They're actually curious. I have to go out and do a fire inspection on those every year, and I don't ever hear it. For some reason, but maybe I'm not even listening for it, but let me, if you talk about whatever, give me about 5 minutes, I can probably find out.
It might be harder to hear them anyway because of the traffic on Warren Road. I mean, there is, between the traffic, the airport, it might drown out some of that stuff. I mean,
At least good info to
At
have.
least it would give you an example if
Yeah.
you want to go there
yeah,
to be smaller.
yeah.
Yeah, so what we did, because I can't remember, I know we talked about it for so long, you think it would be ingrained, but for solar, for tier one, they're permitted in all residential and agricultural zoning districts, including PDAs, with a building permit. Tier two, is permitted in all zoning districts, including PDAs, so that's commercial and residential, with a special permit and building permit. So tier one is really just meant to be residential. Tier two was anywhere with a special permit. And so we could do something similar here. I mean, I think tier one here, we can wait to see what Mike comes back. I don't have a feel for, I mean, I know in here it's got, what, 600 kilowatt hours. Seems big. I mean, maybe not. My truck's 133 and that's doing all kinds of other stuff too. It's not like you're gonna strap or my truck on a wall. If you take a look at the Tesla Powerwalls, I don't know what, like, go and take a look. They're a lot smaller than that. And that's something more that you would have in
It's
a,
like a small
yeah, it's like,
trailer.
so those are big. If you look like at a residential, Tesla Powerwall, it's like the size, I don't know, the size of a refrigerator and not as deep.
I just Googled 600 kilowatt hour best.
Oh, yeah, so that would be like the size of like a small shipping container.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were looking at a Powerwall.
I don't know what that is.
It's like a Tesla.
I
It's
swim
that
outside
right
of my
there.
depths here.
That's it.
That's nice.
Yeah, so they're small. Like I said, it's like, not as deep as it's probably yay deep and not as big as a normal like commercial refrigerator. I just don't know how much they store. Let's find out. If it doesn't say on their website, they've got to work on their marketing. Yeah, so, oh, okay, that's small. Yeah, so it says like a normal Tesla Powerwall, again, small, it's 13.5 kilowatt hours. So that's, yeah, you can, it says you can expand them to, just shy of 100. So, you can chain a few of them together, but that's more of a residential installation. Those aren't meant to like, you're not going to strap those in a shipping container.
Yeah.
Versus the thing that Natalie saw, which is like picture, and I think that also, Kaylee showed us, it really was more like a shipping container thing with like rows of batteries in them and like a control module and fans and, pads and all that stuff. So I think, and maybe 600 isn't the right number, maybe it needs to be changed, but I think if we do something similar, like we did with solar and consider tier ones really more for like
Just residential.
residential districts. I'm just thinking, Mike will come back out and let us know what Dairy One is. I just wonder, what if Dairy One comes up and says, well, we want to put a small best, well, they already have one. The Village of Lansing wants to put a small best in here and it's not residential. But it's under,
What does she want to put in? Is it a 2? This company?
I forget what it said under, yeah. It was,
what size she wants to do.
Yeah,
Yeah, it sounds like a 10 MW.
so 10 MW, yeah, so that's pretty big. I mean, compared to like a,
Noted the one in Tonawanda is double the size.
that's 20, yeah.
So I just, the town of Clay, just passed a new law for their best systems up there. Of course, they've got a whole nother, they're in a whole different.
Yeah.
But anyway, their new law is not up yet, so we don't have access to it. But I quickly put in there to see if I could find out what they said about vibration and size. So for tier 1, for small residential commercial, it just says systems like the small Tesla Powerwalls under 600 kilowatt hours are generally exempt from the heaviest zoning rules. They must simply align with standard municipal quiet hours. And then tier 2 and tier 3 large industrial utility, industrial proposals such as the 12-unit Carson Power Layout or NextAmp's heavy Tesla Megapat installations produce significant ambient noise, often cited around 75 to 88 decibels right at the equipment unit.
So that's about what she has in this chart here. She says the Tesla Megapack at 3 feet right by the unit, 82 decibels. Oh, yeah, that is decibel. So that, I mean, what you just saw matched up with, kind of what,
We have a tier 3.
yeah, I was gonna ask, what's,
It said that was under tier 2 and tier 3.
yeah, what's tier? We just have 1 and 2.
Yeah. A tier.
But then it says how noise is enforced. To mitigate the sound of these larger footprints, the law relies on structural and geographical buffer zones rather than trying to dampen the internal battery vibration.
So things like, the tree buffer there or distance from. Okay. So then I guess, so right now we have, really the only difference between 1 and 2 is initially the aggregate capacity. Right now, the way that we have it written is they're both allowed in all zoning districts. Which the statement that you read at the beginning there, tier 1 is small residential or commercial. So, right, say that the Crystals wants to put those Crystals. That's dangerous. I'll go back to the Village of Lansing. Say the Village of Lansing, to be eco-friendly here at the Village Hall, and we don't use a lot of electricity. We want to put a power wall in here, something small, something under 600. Or some other, pick any other small business here. If we limit it to just residential, then they can't do that.
So it seems like the town of Clay has the tier 1 just residential, tier 2 small commercial, and then tier 3 anything above 600 kilowatt.
Oh, okay. And that'd be good.
I found the unnumbered local law.
Oh. So tier 1 is residential under 600, tier 2 is commercial
Here,
under 600.
I mean, far under, they specifically list out
Oh, okay.
battery energy storage systems for 1 to 2 family dwellings, which shall not exceed 40 kilowatt hours within utility closets or storage spaces, 80 kilowatts hours in attached garages or detached accessory structures, 80 kilowatts on exterior walls, or 80 kilowatts outdoors on the ground. And then any other battery energy storage system with a capacity less than those listed in table 1, which is the tier 2 table of capacity, which goes anywhere from 10 kilowatt hours to 70 kilowatt hours. And is anything less than 600 kilowatt hours.
So tier 3 is anything over 600.
Yeah. Interesting.
What else is there, do we know in the area? For best law? It's been passed, anything?
Oh,
I can Google and see who has passed one.
Because for small stuff, I'm all in favor. If it's small, residential or commercial, go for it.
do one recently.
Well, we've talked
But
about.
they
so
were
much,
working on it.
Yeah, but for small stuff, I don't see any reason to find whatever small is.
Yeah, like.
If
those
you want to be
super small
residential or
ones.
commercial, I don't think that there's a big deal there. For bigger stuff, though, shouldn't put that. I know, well, maybe we want to be more worried about residential districts, or maybe and maybe it's not strictly residential. I don't know if it's medium or high, or maybe it's like, low, but maybe there's another set of factors in there too, right? It's not that you can't have it. I'm just thinking, because we do have some areas that are spread out.
Yeah.
And maybe, with enough trees or distance between a house, if you look at this chart here, it drops down to, pretty low at 1,600 feet away, but I mean, it gets lower as you move further away, and I don't know if that's a worst case scenario. It's not.
Dryden is still working on their best law.
Okay.
I think there's a lot happening in this area.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be so rush it because,
Yeah, and that's fine, but we should be making progress on, yeah.
yeah, but I think the way, in my opinion, we should be making progress is by researching
And
it.
that's fine, yeah, absolutely.
And because I feel like we keep looking at this without enough knowledge of, at least for me, I feel out of my depth. And it feels like it's going to have impacts outside of anything we can even predict.
Yeah.
Especially if you can start to, and I think too, is like maybe the smarter, and 2 years from now, you'll be able to store 600 in a tighter container. So then maybe we're limiting ourselves by saying 600 is what we consider tier one, when really can be, you know what I mean? Like maybe we can go bigger than.
Well, that's the thing. I'm more worried about the impact on neighbors. I mean, if you could fit a megawatt in your garage and it doesn't make any noise. Okay, cool. Go ahead and put it, maybe we're concerned about safety or something, but
Fire and
well, yeah, right. And then maybe it's a safety thing. I mean, safety aside, if it's, if we're worried, it sounds like as we've talked about this, we've asked for like the decibel thing. And is it going to be loud? Is it going to be, is it going to bother neighbors? Well, pretend that it made absolutely no noise at all.
Well, that's because we already know that there's a fire plan.
Well, yeah, but.
That's the only reason. I mean, if we didn't have like this designated fire plan.
No, that's not what I mean, though. I mean, like, you know what I mean? If it didn't make any sound at all, I mean, again, pushing safety off to the side, like, I think that.
I think if you have something over 600 in your garage,
That's a bit much, yeah.
you can catch your whole neighborhood on
Yeah,
fire.
yeah.
If you don't have a good plan.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being a little bit rushed to decide on it, and I would like to get more information.
Yeah. Maybe Mike has more information on us right now.
And I don't know, I didn't catch everything you had said
Yeah.
previously about vibration a while ago, but you can have very low pitched vibration type noises that are probably very low in the decibel scale. They're sort of those things that like, do I hear a hum or not? Yeah, I do hear a hum, and you feel it as much as you hear it, and that constant vibratory hum is, can be really problematic because it's constant.
Yeah.
Like maybe, I guess an analogy is like in my apartment, for example, if my neighbor turns on their bathroom fan or something, you don't hear it so much, but you can feel it, and it's this background low. And for a long time, it's really annoying.
Time to move out of there, Jim. You have the bathroom fan.
What's that?
I said, it's time to move out of there if you can hear somebody else's bathroom.
You
fan.
don't hear it that much. It's just this very low pitched hum, going back to that sort of phenomenon, like, do I hear something or not? You listen, or you can kind
Yeah,
of feel it.
I know what
And
you
then when it's off, it's like, it's
Yeah.
great.
You're like, oh, thank goodness.
So is there any battery energy storage systems over at the airport? Large ones? Over in the Cornell Business
I
Center
think the only two are,
or Dairy One?
What
so
did you find out?
find size.
What I found, the only thing I found, well, I have a lot more I have to look at for, the Brentwood one that's out for nowhere land. The one at Dairy One is, I mean, our threshold 600 kilowatt hours. The one at Dairy One is 650 kilowatt hours.
Okay.
So that would be a tier two.
So it'd be a tier two, that would be your lowest level tier two almost.
Right.
So if we want to go up and stand by that, and listen to that, I mean, that's kind of the lowest range.
Are they selling ice cream yet?
No, that's in my when we go around the table question.
What was the level at the Brentwood one? Did you?
I don't know yet. I'll go back in there and look if you guys don't need me out here, but I want to get you some information.
I want to say they weren't all that dissimilar.
No.
So I want to imagine you're going to get one. Oh, it's 3 times as big. I think they were pretty
If I had to
similar.
guess, the one at Dairy One is actually
Yeah.
bigger than the one. Size wise, I don't know what the capacity is.
Where's the one on Brentwood? Is it, when you drive in, if you go straight back, is it in the back?
Go straight back, they'd make that turn to the left. Before you make that other turn, it goes left, it'll be right there on your right.
Oh, maybe I should just drive over there and
Take a drive.
stand out there for a minute.
Yeah. But I'll look that up too.
Yeah, I mean, I'm with Soledad that I think there's a lot of information that we don't know that would be helpful.
Yeah.
If you could find some other ones, Natalie, that folks have either adopted, or if there's any information about what they're considering.
I will look, and I'll send out links, but I found the town of Clay, which we just.
Yeah, we talked about.
I don't know, William says it hasn't passed, but there's a template on their website. The town of Veteran passed one last year, but only allows residential BESS fans, anything above 80 kilowatt per hour. And I'll try to see if there's a town of Dryden, like, draft, because
Yeah,
they've been really working on that thing.
actually.
Not that you would know.
Can you ask Kaylee, I mean, do we want to ask her about like, the vibrational impacts or any studies like that?
Would we want to ask NYSERDA?
Oh,
Because Kaylee,
she
I'm
went for.
sure
yeah,
she
sure,
is
yeah.
an upstanding woman, but has an agenda.
Yeah.
So maybe NYSERDA could, because one of the town of Dryden minutes that I saw said they had someone from NYSERDA come and give a presentation. Anna Schwanzer, Schanzer. She was from NYSERDA's Clean Energy Siting Team to give an overview on BESS.
Just
It sounds like it was very similar to what Kaylee gave us, but,
It was, I was at that meeting,
okay, so it was about the same.
same overview.
Yeah.
Really wasn't any specifics.
When I watched, it was a guy from NYSERDA. And he,
Did I watch?
There was one that, well, the one that we went to was just citing, it wasn't specific to like,
he like showed the ones that were built outside of like, right down the road from me, this one here, and it only looked like, I don't know, like I walk in a freezer.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
do we actually need some sort of industry standards for size, sound, power? Like, do we need to get that granular to, it's hard to say, like, so what I was saying, 2 years from now, 600 could be this big.
We had the discussion about solar.
Yeah,
too.
solar.
When we were talking about solar, it was square footage. Well, it wasn't, it was square footage, as the things get better and you can a lot more power out of them. Or we've reached, the end of where we're gonna get.
I mean, you could also handle each one. Let's say the Kaylee came in with just our random. And we said, okay, yeah, we know where she wants to put it for the site. We want an example of what the noise is to the closest service. Give us an example of what that is, and then base what we do around that. As far as putting it in districts, you obviously aren't going to be able to get, logically, you wouldn't be able to do it in high density residential or medium density residential. That's my opinion. The other ones I think, very good. It would be my thought. And I just kind of went on a random wording trip there. I don't know whether you make me on that or not, but I think my thought process is a little.
I think we need to look at the NYSERDA Clean Energy Guidebooks for local governments, which has the best guidebook. Already looking at.
I will contact NYSERDA.
I have the link here to the best guidebook, their best guidebook. Did you look at that yet?
I've got a contact at NYSERDA to deal with
Oh, all right.
inside.
Mike knows that.
Inside person.
So they Hannah.
Is Hannah somebody that we saw up at the Planning Federation? Huh?
Just calling.
Because I guess another question here is if all of our surrounding counties and cities start saying no, and we're one of the only ones who say yes.
Yeah.
Are we gonna become like a best haven? I don't know. It is,
There's a couple big ones going in Albany, because I widely get the Albany news in the morning.
Yeah.
We're in like 3 big ones that were going somewhere around Albany.
Let's all go to Albany.
Yeah, outside of
No, it's dumping
Tier
down.
3. It's probably in some warehouse district with no people.
Right, yeah.
Miles away.
I'll also try to find a larger one and I'll make a field trip. You guys want me to make a field trip? I'll go make a field trip. I'll stand so far away and come back and kind of give you an idea. I'm not gonna record it because that takes away everything, but. Well, it kind of takes away.
Is it like top secret?
Yeah. But then it depends how high your phone is when you play it back.
That's why unless you're.
Cause I was like gonna Google, you know,
Yeah, that's-
best sound, but it depends how loud your computer is.
Unless you're actually there, it's hard.
Yeah.
I might be able to describe it better than anything. So I'll
How
look.
tropical the location is.
There's one in.
In Hawaii, it's the weirdest thing.
Oh, the village.
The closest I could find, also on Hawaii.
Michael be zooming in on us.
Yeah, I'm really,
Heavens,
this is what it sounds like. Let's gotta go. Well, so
Pat.
So it seems like we can't answer the question about, you know, other districts that we want them in or not.
Yeah.
On the second page, I don't want to just skip over it because we want more information. On the second page, though, special permit shall be required for all tier 2 batteries. Why is this? Do we need language explaining it? What's up? I was gonna say, we shouldn't put language in there. I would say it's very similar, you know, if as long as we stick with the 2-tier system, if we did 1, 2, 3, maybe that changes it. But I mean, if you take a look at solar, tier 1 is just a building permit, tier 2 is a building permit and a special permit, because then you can go through all those other things that, you know, we require pretty much a non-resident. So I don't think that we need to add
A reason.
a reason in there. We don't in other places, and I think it just introduces more opportunity to, yeah. Removal of existing trees shall comply. Okay. What's that NFPA 70 you have in there?
I looked those up and
Okay.
they're the proper.
Okay. On page 3, I know they're not numbered. Special permit and other local approvals for the battery energy storage system would be void if a new owner or operator fails to provide written notification. Do we want that?
I put that in there because it seemed kind of harsh. We basically had a discussion last meeting where Natalie explained that, you know, it's Commissioner Harrison.
Yeah.
You're gonna find it as need or.
Because that's where we found notice with the,
Jim and I were talking about also making the seller provide notice to the village that they intend on conveying the property. I mean, enforcement.
yeah, that's
Just for two
2
pronged
ways, yeah.
approach, get them coming in, so you know to be looking for someone to come in after 30 days. And I'll have to go, but there was a big discussion about this surrounding the tree law. I think at the Board of Trustees level, but I can't be certain. I can try to go back and find that discussion,
What part about the tree law was it?
this notification for change of ownership. Not the tree law. the-
Okay, the solar law, okay, good, I was like, the tree, yeah.
Oh, is that when the whole decommissioning piece that they wanted added? Or we wanted it, how did that
No,
go?
I think this is where we settled on, right, right, isn't this, it's recorded at the,
Yeah,
Clerk's
we
office.
they landed on this solution, but I don't remember why.
so maybe there's more detail around it then,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
I can try to find those minutes and sort.
As far as permitting requirements, I'm just looking to see what we did. So I think, I know there's a green question, these 1 and 2 be in a section called definitions. Again, my opinion is we should keep this as similar to the solar law as possible, and in the solar law, we actually kind of put these, we kind of define these things down in the permitting requirements. So that's where you've got like tier 1, here's where it's allowed, tier 2, and then tier 3, where it's like, you know, it starts to get like screening, visibility, size, square footage, things like that.
Yeah, they also are.
Yeah, but it doesn't get down to like the like 600 square feet. It's more like, here's what a solar energy system is. We're not talking, I don't think we define. So
We did have the tiers.
We've got building integrated solar energy system, ground mounted solar energy system, mounted on farm, roof mounted. So where is this? This is 145. I guess this is in 145.3. So in definitions, I guess we do have them. It's short. It doesn't get into like the definitions of like, square footage or additional, like the actual permitting requirements, like, 600 kilowatt hour square footage, things like that. It just says, like tier 1 is a residential roof mounted solar energy system. Tier 2 is, residential ground mounted. And then tier 3 is, you can see them here. Anything that's not tier 1 or tier 2. So maybe part of it does need to go up there, but just like a quick. On the next page, just a formatting thing. Mike, you looked that up on that. A couple pages back at the just before G, the environmental resources one. Yeah, sorry, forward, I guess. Yeah, back on the packet, forward and different pages.
Did you say D or G?
Right before G, so it's called environmental resources, it's highlighted in yellow.
Okay.
This is my sort of.
Yeah, definitely. Mike can come up with this.
I did look to see if we kept this language in the solar law, and we did.
Okay. I'd love to talk about foraging habitats.
Because then we had to
That-
debate whether or not we're gonna define pollinator.
Yeah, I just.
His was just a question about, what areas do we consider appropriate? The highlighted yellow is in there from the survey from the model law.
Yeah.
The green is Kevin's question there.
Yeah, is it cut lawn around it enough? So
That
we're
would be
making it specific.
single specimen of cultivated ground cover that does not readily transmit fire, unless it's dry and dead and then it transmits fire.
But you have an area around both of those that either impervious surface as in 720 or out Brentwood, you have all stone that are out there. And part of my fire inspection is if I see weeds or something going up in there, I write them up, whoever has to maintain it has to go do that. So they are keeping that 10-foot
Yeah,
area.
around to the foraging habitat for pollinators should be outside of the 10 feet.
At 10 feet and say there's no flowers around it. Pollinators.
Yeah, so for the solar one, it says, owner shall utilize and maintain native perennial vegetation to provide foraging. Oh, that doesn't talk about,
We need clearance.
yeah, it doesn't talk about anything about like.
The yellow highlighted area is okay, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's just, yeah, I think it's okay.
Is that from, the 10 feet
from the-
comes right from the,
Model.
in the
Yeah.
model law.
Yep. I'm okay with that. Go to that one. The next one under, the G there. 12 or 24 months solar, we did 12.
I thought we were gonna get rid of special permit and just have the building permit. What's the solar law?
Building permit for solar energy shall be valid for 12 months.
The special permit has its own duration.
Oh, right, because it's special permit.
Building permit basically is 12 months. Do you
Right.
have to renew it? Something
So that one will just say the building permit.
that's in our zoning.
So that one would say the building permit, not special permit. shall be valid for 12 months. That lines up with what we do for solar.
And that lines up with what we have in our code zone.
Okay.
So 12 months, not 12, not 24, okay.
That it? Is that-
I said, these are the sections you start to follow.
Yeah.
So, basically, we're pretty close to this.
I don't
I don't know, I think, so,
I don't
to
think
Soledad's point, is there I know that there's been discussion about, from whoever it is, sole source, whoever it is that wants to put one in. I don't know if we have enough right, we could come up with something, or we could get more information and wait, and.
Let's get more information.
Okay,
Yeah,
there's not been an application for.
Let me
this yet, right?
find the best location. Let me go to it. Let me contact NYSERDA.
Yeah.
Natalie, you're looking up.
Laws.
Yep. Because that'll give us at least solid direction on
Yeah.
what districts we want to allow this.
Yeah, I think the big questions are districts and 1, 2, or 3 tiers, or
Yeah.
maybe, size.
Town of Clay.
And like how we define tier 1, tier 2, tier 3.
That was a big discussion on the bid solar too. It's just,
Because I think 600 is a lot.
there's a
I
lot.
think so
Yeah.
too. 'Cause
I like that idea of having a smaller one and saying, anything this small, residential or commercial,
Go for it.
go ahead, plug one into the wall. But right, as you start to get bigger, then then safety really does, come into play. And so is it gonna, bother neighbors?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But as far as contents in here, I think we've
I
got
think a lot
all
of
of the contents that we need. We just need to get some of these other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll be
Depending
adding
on what-
sound and
Yeah,
stuff.
find another law. They might
Yeah,
have
if
something.
we're gonna change the tier.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think the bulk of this
Is good.
is good. It's just, we need more information to figure out tiers and requirements.
Yeah, I think one of the things I'm thinking about, it's going to be difficult around this, is like the real risk of fire, or even in a resident, because I started thinking about what you said about like, you can just plug it in, but you can't even like take a lithium battery to the drop off at the, like at the trash place.
Mhm.
There's like you can't even drop a can of oil off, right? Without first, I feel like we have a responsibility to make sure that if it's to a certain size that it can catch on fire and someone can plug it into their garage, we may have been missing something previously that we maybe should have considered. Because I'm thinking like, people can plug in, I think 600 or whatever into their garage.
That seems a lot. I mean, like.
600 is big.
That seems a lot. Yeah, I mean, so like, but EVs, are big and they've got massive fire hazards and there's no.
Yeah, but there's moratoriums all over New York State with BESS.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, I'm just saying that.
They had a moratorium for the last year and then they started working on this proposal, but I think they started working on the proposal because of Micron.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know that, but I'm guessing that was one thing that drove them to.
Yeah, let's take the time. Like I said, I think EVs are way smaller than 600 is my point. And there's still big fire hazards with them and there's no regulation around them. So yeah, we should, while they're doing it. And that kind of sounds like what Clay did. They had like a small, or some of the ones we looked at, they had a much smaller threshold, like the Tesla thing, it says you can expand it up to, 98 or something. Maybe that's too much, whatever, but. Okay.
And the Board of Trustees also will review this.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. So it's not just us.
No.
No. Okay. Any other questions on that? More information to come? Okay, next item on the agenda is the trustee report.
So they paused the recording and meeting for about 15 minutes at the beginning to meet with council. So they did that. When they came back, they talked about, I guess it Minibit, Unibit. The vendor's contract, proposed contract for the new website. There's a few different things in there. Oddly, their jurisdiction is in Missouri. Talking about moving any arbitration or to our jurisdiction. They discussed data portability concerns, being able to get data in and out of and off of the website. The price quote's going to expire, so they wanted to get something going and get all these questions fed back to the vendor. And then they talked about skip the stuff resolution. Smart communities resolution supporting participating in zero waste, skip the stuff campaign, meaning when you order food out, you don't get singleware or single use silverware and whatnot unless you request it. On the emergency preparedness plan. And that conversation, I was having a hard time following, but Kathleen's trying to get it updated. Ronnie was discussing why they needed to make a duplicate version of it, the emergency plan, if it matches the same as the county.
I also had a hard time following, so don't feel.
It was like, I will provide no value on this.
Yeah.
I think at the end, what it came down to was that it had to be looked at every year. That's what I got. And whether or not any changes were done, it still had to be updated a bit and looked at every year. Talked about post-retirement health insurance for a minute. At least draft, we're just establishing an annual review and update cycle. And then they talked about posting the job for the assistant clerk, is that what they're calling it? Deputy clerk. And they did their roundtable. There wasn't a lot of new stuff. Ashley Siegfried, Southern Tier Village Climate Smart Communities Advisor, will be on October 15th agenda, or 5th agenda, I guess. Oh, and there's an airport preparedness thing you can sign up for on September 19th at the airport and get a go bag. And I actually looked into it, and you have to sign up on the Homeland Security site. That's about it. County legislator reviewed 3 natural infrastructure capital funding resolutions. Try to preserve 200+ acre properties in Caroline, Danby, and Newfield. That one was pretty interesting, but that was a quick mention. That's all I got.
Next item on the agenda is other business. I do want to put a plug in that for other business, sometimes we go off on tangents and we start talking about rumors in the village. So let's avoid doing that. If you have questions about something you've heard or want to know, well, when is, I don't know, someplace moving in, send Mike an email. He can tell you if he knows anything. Maybe not. I'm gonna skip around this time. I always start at like one end of the table. Jim.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't have anything.
See, caught him off guard. Kevin.
Nothing.
Rain, I'm not skipping around so much, it's just bouncing from either side of the table now, but it's.
Any word on Dairy One, when they're gonna open? Do you have any idea what's going on there?
Season's winding down unless they're getting their pumpkin ice cream ready. I would be okay with, by the way.
Well, every day I drive by and I look and I'm like, I wonder if anything's happening there.
They've got everything they need. I've done my inspection.
Well, I know they had jobs posted and.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
and the job, well, they had jobs posted, like, I saw it like over a month ago, and in the description, it said that they were hoping to do a soft opening at the end of August. So it's almost the end of August.
Time for pumpkin ice cream.
The other thing I just wanted to mention is I was at the mall last week, which I haven't been at the mall in a long time. I don't know if you've noticed the realtor sign that's under the Shops of Ithaca Mall sign right near Chipotle. Anyway, in the mall,
that one, yeah.
we ended up having dinner and then we walked the mall, and there's a sign in every empty storefront with that, whatever the name of that realtor is. Yeah, big leasing sign in every single storefront.
Okay.
I know. I'm like, it's
Good
interesting.
Good advertising.
Yeah,
What else?
that's it.
Sold it?
Nothing.
Natalie?
I did bring up to Ronnie after the board of trustees
Yes.
meeting about the alternate member.
Yes, he emailed me.
Okay,
I was gonna bring that up.
stole your thunder.
And that, no, that's fine. Go ahead.
That was it. I just reminded him
okay.
that they hadn't voted on.
Yeah, so I had chatted with him and he said, and he said, oh yeah, I forgot. And then I think it still fell off, but yes, no, it's gonna be on their, I don't know if it's gonna be on their next meeting. I think it's the first October meeting, because September, they don't have a meeting on Labor Day. And then I think their agenda for the next one was full. So, I think it was the first October meeting. He said he would put it on the agenda there. Oh, I have it right here. Never mind. Oh no, they were gonna do it, our first two trustee meetings in September have been canceled. Oh,
No, there's,
September
first
21st.
meeting is at the end of September.
yeah, so the next available meeting will be Monday, September 21st, so not October. Yeah, so September 21st. That's all I have.
Did he confirm that?
That's what he said in the email.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
That was my and Natalie's update. Mike?
The other special permit that'll probably be coming to the next meeting. Ground mounted solar for a battery backup. It's not a very big battery backup. Like you said, that thing.
I have a bigger one than that at my house.
Can't think of anything else.
Anything just, I know, as much as people don't like to hear, summer's winding down, we're moving to fall and winter, anything like that you're aware of, like stuff that's just going on in the village that they're potentially trying to squeeze out, like I imagine Chipotle wants to get, well, I guess they've got the foundation and, stuff done before winter, but like anything like that, just that might be coming up that about places trying to wedge stuff in before season anything.
No, really hasn't been a whole lot of activity. Chipotle has stalled a little bit only because they still reviewing their site plan. They had given us information and other information, nothing they'd given us was the same, so we've got to figure that out. In the meantime, they're in a time crunch to be done by September 1st.
Well, you better get more than 2 workers over there then.
I saw a bunch of materials delivered there, but
Yeah, with 2 people working over there.
The company that's there now is responsible for the foundation, which is in, they're responsible for the shell, which is why the wood's there, and then they're responsible for the site work. I'm almost done with my tenant layout, which has all mechanicals. The only thing that they have been officially approved on right now is the foundation, the shell, and the energy code.
should start working on the shelf,
But they may not be working on it, I'm just. May not be working on it because they have, and they're looking to 1,500 gallon grease separator, so that might be going inside the house, I'm not sure, inside the building, I'm not sure, I haven't seen plan on that.
Is that big for a grease separator?
Hmm?
Is that big for a grease separator?
Pretty good size.
Oh, okay. I mean, 1,500 gallons, that's pretty big. So. Well,
Do we know who the other occupant's gonna be
We'll do both then.
The other occupant?
for that property?
I wanted to add one thing. I was on Dart Drive the other day, and it's so true. Cars go so fast on Dart Drive. I think cars probably going 60 miles an hour, and
My bike, I ride my bike around there, I sometimes will like jump up on the sidewalk there because, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A couple weeks ago.
experienced it. Wow.
A couple weeks ago, I was still on Graham Road. I hadn't made it to Dart yet. And this car went whipping by me and I'm like, oh my gosh, they must be going 55. And then they must have dropped somebody off. And then they came back up. And when they came back up, I was up by the radar sign and they were going 55.
Wow.
I yell at people,
Same car.
drive on. Been tempted to get like a trash bag full of tennis balls and just sit on the corner.
Oh my gosh.
Windows as they call that.
I have heard that, I hope this doesn't sound like gossip, but I do know that the town of Ithaca or the city of Ithaca downtown, they're talking about putting in speed bumps on behind Aurora. I forget which street that is back there. So. Yes.
Yeah, they already have them I think they already have them on Tioga Street, the speed bumps downtown.
Yeah, they're down there, yeah, it's Tioga, yeah.
Or 2, I think.
Do you want this
2.
on that street?
They have them all over the place.
No,
Well,
not Aurora.
they've got those raised intersections.
Tioga all the time.
Yeah. Okay, I will entertain a motion to adjourn at, 8:30 PM, look at that. Motion by Kevin, second by Lorraine, all in favor?
Right.
Aye, thanks, everybody. Have a good, good couple weeks. Do make sure, please, that you look at the links that Lorraine sent out, look at the definition, look at the chart uses, please, please, please.